Good evening all. How are you all tonight? So with us this evening, as was promised, we have a bass player. And this is a bass guitar, and this is a bass player.
I wouldn't go that far.
So this is Gerwin. Gerwin, tell everyone where you're from, Ger.
From Rhondda.
There you are, Rhondda. And,
That's fighting talk where I come from.
Yeah. How long have you been playing bass?
Since I was 14, so too long now.
And what intrigued you towards the bass?
It was kind of weird. We started off with the usual sort of kids in school kind of band. I just got drawn to the bass probably from people like Steve Harris and a few other eminent 70s bass players, and kind of stuck with it really.
Yeah, beautiful. Now there are jokes about drummers sometimes, and you always see jokes about bass players, but the fact of the matter is, take your bass player out of your band and the whole music will suck. All you'll have is screechy noisiness. Why? Because the bass is the low frequencies, and it's the bottom end of the scale, the low frequencies down there, which create the cream. Really give it the smoothness, the song, the gelling together. The reason we brought Gerwin in this evening is that there's also parts of the drum kit that acquire different frequencies. So your cymbals will do your high frequencies, your snare drums can be sort of in the middle, sometimes very high, depending on how you play the snare, how you tune your snare and so on. But predominantly, most drummers are chasing a lower frequency through their toms, obviously high to low. They like their floor toms to be low, and drummers like a low end bump on the bass drum. So these babies here, with this person is pulling in those low frequencies. That's all about the bass.
It's all about the bass.
Exactly. So what you're then doing is you're causing a nice, creamy, really nice deep feel. Look at that. That's what a bass guitar is. Because some of our students, they may not actually realise what the bass guitar is and what it does. So that's what we're going to discuss. So Gerwin, thank you for that. That's lovely. Lovely. So I've written a couple of bits down because I'll only forget. So, when I have in students of various ranges, various things, even boys that are out playing with bands, they all come in with common complaints and common issues. But one of the things I often do with a student is stick them into the room, put the old music on with them, and then I'll simply say, play along to it. And there are two things that I find common where there are errors, as I mentioned to Gerwin earlier. One, the fills come out too soon and too many. So if I was just filling drums all over the place, I can't flow with you, can I?
Nope, definitely not.
Not locking in. And the other thing is I'll say to the students, what are you listening to? As they play, I'll stop and say, right, what's going on in the mind? And they say, oh, well, I'm concentrating on the drums here and I'm listening to the drummer. And that's when I break them down and say, no, what you should be doing is listening to the music around you or the musicians within. So are they listening to the bass line to understand how to connect with that? And listening to the guitarist to know how to get the feel and the singing especially and so on. So we discussed that earlier, isn't it? Because
definitely.
Gerwin's going to show you just a little pattern as he just did. And if you've never played with a bass player, if you're new to drumming, what you're going to understand is what Gerwin is about to play would be what your foot is playing. Now that's not a rule, as in you can have a Frank Zappa and everyone's playing all different things. But mainstream music, your bass and your bass drum connect on it.
Yeah.
So for me now as a drummer, my right leg is dunk, da dunk, da dunk, da ga. We're going to demo this later if we feel in the mood. So the lines that Gerwin is doing, you should be connecting with. And it's not rocket science, is it?
No, definitely.
It's actually not rocket science.
But without that, you lose the rhythm, you know?
You lose the feel, everybody's playing separately, and then music sounds cluttered.
That's it.
Yeah. So that's a little something that we're going to do. No rule. So the other thing we was going to mention is to do with the tuning of bass drums before we get Gerwin a bit more involved. The bass drum, you can turn up at a venue, you can tune your bass drum and have it absolutely perfect. And then Gerwin would come along and he would plug in, and what's going to go to my bass drum?
Yeah.
It's
Going to pick up all the bass, especially normally with the bass player set up kind of behind
Close.
or in line with the drummer. It's surprising how much they pick up off each other.
Yeah.
And the other thing you'll find is, you know, you can turn up in different rooms. If there's carpets, for instance, they'll suck the bass straight out of the rhythm section. So very often people think that they have to turn the bass up and turn the bass drum down, which is kind of the opposite to what you really have to do. You have to, you know, if the bass is being sucked out, you have to turn the bass down and turn the treble up.
Yeah, so you've got to adjust. I'll often, if the room is like that, because you won't get the toms to cut through, I will have them a little bit higher. I'll just do it there and then, tweak them, so in the song, you know they'll cut through, because
Exactly.
otherwise they're gone,
Yeah.
completely silent. So, bass playing with the bass drum, when you come to tune, ideally, you want to be together, don't you? So
Yeah,
you can
definitely.
understand how they gel at
Yeah.
the same time. That's important. So there's a little tuning tip. Not everyone agrees, but I've done it umpteen times where I've turned up at the venue first, and then I thought, oh, that kit sounds lovely. As soon as the band arrive, you realise actually it doesn't sound the same.
Yeah.
It's gone. You need to change it.
Or
Excellent.
sometimes they can clash even, so that's even worse if you're tuning wise.
Yeah, yeah. So we're going to ask Gerwin a very personal question now. Remember earlier, and that was in the stream of 0 to like 100, and 100 being the very top of the tree of bass players. How do you sort of rate yourself as a player? It's a bit embarrassing to ask, but
That's a tough one. You know, we're lucky, especially in Wales, we've got just so many good bass players. Being gone, you know, still here, Pino Palladino, probably the best bass player in the world at the moment. I'd like to say I'm up there, but I'm nowhere near, unfortunately. In fact, there's a little step ladder over there, and I'm probably just below the bottom rung.
I have put myself down now. But I should say, but there's a reason to mention this actually, because I've worked with Gerwin. I like Gerwin's playing. I like the sound and the feel that we do when we work together. We haven't seen each other, believe it or not, for about 5 years now.
5 years, yeah.
Because of COVID and whatever have you.
Exactly.
Certainly 4. But previous to that, I've enjoyed it. From my point of view, I don't care that Gerwin doesn't feel that he is at the very, very top of the tree, and I'm sure the same the other way. You know,
Oh, I don't.
you put up with my drumming, but
It's not quite Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker, but
no. We got a comment, have we, before we
Well,
move on?
Connor Lewis said you're a solid 65.
Oh, love him. Excellent, excellent.
That's a good score.
But I would go a bit higher. But the point being, even if you're working together as a band and the score is a bit lower, if you connect, it makes music. So you don't have to be the most technically minded or superb player, do you? It's about how I feel about you playing with me, vice versa. I don't give a monkey.
and I think you nailed it there. You know, it's like you said, it's how you play as a band. It's not, you know, you could probably play with the best in the world, but if you don't click, you're just going to make a noise. It's not going to be music.
Exactly. And it's, again, I keep always pushing this. Remove the ego. Come in and talk together. Work. Be humble enough to accept that from a drummer's point of view, you might tell me something and I have to adjust, and vice versa. And then that's how you work. Get the volumes down. Work just bass and drums, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
To run through things. How were you connected before the rest of the band and all the rest of it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, really, really good. And what is it that you want out of a drummer? Flip the coin over.
I suppose, you know, you could kind of cover the cliche things and say it's timing and stuff, but for me it's dynamics. It's being able to take it up, being able to bring it back down, you know, being able to push, sometimes being able to sit in front of or behind each other, and that's what really kind of separates you then as a, you know, a good rhythm section. Once you can create that dynamic, bring so much more to the song rather than just, you know, bish bash and and it, you know, fall on the floor, should we say, and just crack through it. It just gives you that extra, you know, space, that extra feel, everything to do with
Totally.
the dynamic.
I think it's more fun as well when you're playing there. When you have this movement, you smile together because you connect together.
And I think it's better, you know, for the audience as well, you know, if you can kind of bring things down, you know, we've played all the clubs and pubs and bars and stuff going, and sometimes when you kind of go quiet a bit, they sort of look, and you know, it creates that bit of interaction as well.
Yeah, when I shot off to have a wee in the band to play. I used to go quiet. Where's the drummer gone? Oh, he's back now.
Yeah. Well, you are getting over.
So I made about 5 points. So the expert, the how we feel, what you want out of a drummer. So I'm constantly trying to encourage boys and girls that if you want to work together and jam together, you know, we have this. We see YouTube and the rest, which is a fabulous setup, but unfortunately we end up comparing.
Yeah.
We end up almost paralysing, and we thinking, well, I have to be at that standard before I can show myself.
Yeah.
But actually, playing music is free, as in,
Yeah.
apply a bit of time to it, work together, and you're entitled to play it. Everyone's allowed to play music.
Even, you know, turn up at your local jam night. I'm a big fan of some of the local jam nights, and just get up and give it a go, you know. And you know, I think YouTube is great in that it's a great thing for teaching and starting to learn, but you don't really kind of find out how it works until you play with someone.
Yeah.
You know, you can be the best bedroom drummer or bedroom bass player or guitarist or whatever, but it's really playing with people kind of gets you to learn and feed off each other.
And again, because of that chemistry between people and so on. And where is the best place for an open mic night?
It's probably Pengethley in Treorchy.
Pengethley, Treorchy.
On Thursdays.
So if you're local to Treorchy, then that's fine. If you're watching this and you're in the US of A, then take you a little while to get over there.
It's a nice plane ride.
Yeah. Again, you used to travel a lot, didn't you?
Yeah.
Before
It was
the
probably
pandemic.
one of the reasons I'd let the bass playing go a bit. I just didn't have time to rehearse and stuff. But,
Yeah, 'cause you
maybe
had-
that's changing.
You had quite a I'd say an important job, didn't you? You used to go out and analyse companies and
Yeah.
be flitting all over the place, but that's stopped now, isn't it?
Yeah. Based in Pencoed now, so
Home bird.
home
now.
and happy now. Yeah.
Excellent. So, right, what we're going to do then, Nick, unless there's anything I need, is I'm going to go there and just do, are we clear to go there now? I mean, what we're going to do is just show 1 or 2 little tiny demonstrations. We can't really go into it because we're on the phone and the volumes and so on, and we haven't played together for 5 years.
That's the worst thing.
Yeah.
That's the most frightening.
So we're just going to do something really simple, nice and basic, just showing you how that connects with that. I'm going to get my piece of paper, so pretend that I didn't move behind my drum kit, because I won't remember anything. So we're going to, there's a little song called Slow Turning, a fantastic man called, artist called John Hyatt. And when we first played with Eddie, it was more of a sort of a boom, 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 but you started to do 2 on the bass drum, didn't you? On the bass drum. On the
not on the
bass.
bass drum.
So, if you show the line that you started to play on this slow turning when we're doing live. So because you were doing 2, then rather me doing, I swapped into 2 as well, didn't I? So we connect together, so it's that. Now are you up on that now? Right? So because the song originally when we jammed together was a sort of boom, 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 and Gary was doing a double, I changed to 6. So my bass drum, my right leg, is tying in with it. And that's for you beginners who may not understand or know that. It's which part of the drum kit, which part of my brain is going to lock in with Gerwin, and then other parts lock in with other things. Then, as we said, the push in, the pull in, when to go up, when to go down, and so on.
And sometimes even if you're covering a song, you know, you don't have to be exact.
No.
You can make your own version. And
Yeah, better to put your own personality on it
yeah,
anyway.
exactly.
So we'll just do that little run just to show how the bass drum connects with that. I will touch the snare and so on, but part of it I want just to show you the bass drum. So it's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a Like that. Yeah. Hey! I'm slightly nervous then, it's been 5 years. So again, the dynamics, that little triplet on the snare, when we were playing live now, I'd wallop that out.
Yeah.
Rim shot it like a good, and then the rest you're trying to just hold. But it's this feel, isn't it, between us, so bada.
Yeah.
And for me, it's to get the second hit a little bit louder and flop in with you.
Yeah.
Love it. So that isn't exactly rocket science, is it?
No,
That's
it just adds a bit of depth.
but it's
doesn't it?
just what makes people dance, and that is what you need to do. Now, we did, when I first came back, we jammed together, and I was doing funky music with you, and
Yeah.
and I was
Well,
playing it
Cherry-
wrong.
And yeah, I did have to tell you.
And what did you have to tell me?
You playing it wrong. You
Why?
was getting all the fills in the wrong place.
Yeah, or not doing them.
Yeah,
That was basically, I did the first fill, and then I was playing through, and you said every run there needed the fill in there.
It's
isn't
kind
it?
of every other, yeah.
Yeah. So if we do just a little tiny part of that as well, and I'll show you what I mean. The Gavin picked up, be humble enough for someone to say, Lee, you should be playing fills in these sections, and then when you do and you listen to one another, it sounds better, rather than getting all uppity, you know.
Exactly. And the other thing is, it can come back the other way because I'm playing something and it just sounds out of place. And
Yeah, yeah. And I would give the luck when the notes were wrong, wouldn't I?
yeah, as Nick Mason was always saying, and
But
you make a
wrong.
mistake, then blame the bass player.
So it's 1, 2. And that's it, separate my stick.
Yeah.
So again, it's, I listened to you, we did it, we tied them in. So you're doing a run at the same time as I'm doing the film.
Yeah.
And that's basically all we need to do in it. So I think that's the thing for this evening. Talk together when you're working as a band. Bass and guitar, bass and drums especially. Talk to one another. Listen to how the texture is. Get the volumes, the tuning nice, and just work. So that what happens is you're joined to my hip, and then the night is great. Then, isn't it?
That's it.
And then you play everything twice as fast. Especially when the guitarist starts the song.
Yeah, when the excitement kicks in, and yeah.
Excellent. So that's it for this evening. It's a slightly shorter one in that respect because all we're going to do at the end of the day is just give a little demonstration. Work, if you're not working with the band and you're just enjoying drums, then listen to what the music is doing. Try and pick up good ideas sometimes to go on to a tutorial about bass playing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
How they are playing. Because they do say to be a really good drummer, you should play other instruments. Now, although I can't play them, but I study other instruments, as in, my daughter does piano, so I watch her a lot. When I work with you, for an example, I'll study what you're doing. I will listen to bass players, and then you're picking up how they work. Listen to guitarists, how they work, and so on. And I think if you grab those tutorials around you, then when you're listening to the music you're playing along to, you're actually listening to a different thing altogether.
That's it. And purposely, force yourself into listening to other parts.
Yeah.
Kind of as you said earlier.
Yeah, because then you just close your eyes and you're playing it differently because you're thinking of the team as opposed to yourself. And not too many fills. And that's my phone. And the message comes through, it goes,
I thought it was Lee again.
Excellent. So I hope that come around. Well, boys and girls, that sort of like gives you a little demonstration. And of course, how big you want to make this, it's just down to time, isn't it?
Yeah,
If
definitely.
you've got time together, you can do Rush if you want, then can't you? You know, Spirit of the Radio and all that.
Yeah.
But if you haven't got that time and it's more simple music, that's fine. Just work together, listen to each other, and work as a team. So how was that? So thanks for visiting.
Pleasure.
Really
As
good to
always,
see
Nick.
you actually, because it's been ages and ages, and that was nice. So excellent. Thank you, Nick.
Thanks all.
All at the back end there all the time. So we will see you soon, and if you're watching this on playback, because a lot of drummers are doing lessons.
Yeah, the
and that
competition
now.
has ended. Oh, sorry, no.
Yeah, that's it. Competition is over, and now that's the end of that. So excellent. Yeah, keep in touch. Give us a little thumbs up and a like and whatever have you, and keep watching, guys and girls. And we'll see you soon.
Thanks all.
Thanks, Kevin.